What if I told you that posting less content had made me more money and more sales for my digital product business? Because what I was doing before, posting every day on TikTok and Instagram, that was burning me out. In fact, I was heading towards a mental breakdown. And it wasn't until the day that I found myself sobbing on my bathroom floor, literally telling my husband I was done, I was not going to do this anymore, I was going to give up, did I actually commit to going all in on one platform and doing long form content on YouTube. And since then, I have never looked back. In fact, when I was made redundant from my job 6 months later, I didn't even bother look for a new one. You know why? Because I had a 6-figure online business that I could run from home. I could set my own schedule, and I didn't have any boss breathing down my neck telling me what I should and shouldn't do. So if you want to do the same thing, if you want to find out how you can post less content and make more money and more sales from your digital product business, you're in the right place. I'm going to break down exactly what I did. Let's get into it. Hey friends, I'm Rochelle. I'm a 6-figure digital product seller and mentor, and I help you start your own digital product businesses with the help of AI. Now, did you know that you're going to get 80% of your results from just 20% of your effort? But when it comes to content, too many of us are spending time on the 80% and not on the 20%, and that is what's keeping us stuck, and that's what's stopping us from moving forward. In today's video, I am only focusing on that 20% of content that's going to get you the results. I'm going to teach you what it is, how to create it, how to maximize it, and what platforms you should be focusing on to finally break free of the constant hamster wheel. And just before we get into it, I want you to know that I have $1 million AI prompts that I've put together that's going to help you actually execute this content and put it into practice. It's completely free and you can grab it in the description box. Okay, I've broke this down into 4 parts. 4 parts to your winning 20% content plan. Let's get into the first one. Number 1, content types, not just content pillars. Now hear me out. You've probably heard create your content pillars, create the pillars of content you're going to talk about. And yes, that is helpful. I have my own content pillars, but content pillars are not what's going to make you sales. It's the type of content that you create inside those pillars that is really going to move the needle. And so I'm about to give you the 5 types of content that you need to be making to actually make sales. People really screw this up, okay? So I really want to break it down today so you totally understand it. Okay, so number 1 is personal story content. This is all about sharing your journey and your transformation, okay? So all of what I told you before about burning out online, about being on the bathroom floor sobbing to my husband, that's a true story, and that is a personal story that I've dropped into a piece of educational content. This content here is to educate you. It's not to tell my story. But I told a bit of my story so that you can connect with me. And that's what you need to be doing in your content. You need to identify the types of personal stories that align with the content that you're making and always include those so that 1, it humanizes you, 2, it helps people resonate with you, but 3, it makes everything that you're saying way more tangible. And if you're sitting there thinking, I'm just at the start of my journey, I have no stories, you do. Trust me, you just need to think about how you've got to this point. What are the things you've been through to this point? There are creators out there that have made millions and millions of dollars, and that is part of their personal stories that they drop in every single video. I haven't made that yet, so I talked about the things that are true to me. My struggles with content, my struggles with literally having a mental breakdown almost with content. These are struggles that are relatable to my audience, and this is why I share it, and this is what you need to do too. Find the struggles, find the stories. They don't always have to be bad stories, by the way. They can be good stories. You just need to be able to resonate with your audience. Okay, let's move on to number 2, and this is one that you already know, but I'm going to give it to you from a slightly different perspective. Let's talk about educational content. I've heard so many videos of people saying educational content is dead. Stop delivering educational content. People don't buy from educational content. And the thing is, it's not about educational content. I don't know how many times I've said that now. It's about how you deliver it. So stop with the 5 tips, 3 things I did wrong. This is the tool that you need. No. That's really boring. You need to be actually teaching valuable skills and strategies. Why do you need this tool? What does it do for your business? How do these steps help them get a result? That is how you need to be approaching your educational content. And if you compare that with storytelling, it really takes it up a level. But hear me when I say this, there is absolutely nothing wrong with educational content. Just make sure that it's tangible, and in a world world of AI where people can literally ask ChatGPT anything they want, is adding your personal story to your educational content that is really going to take it up a level. Okay, let's talk about number 3, which is behind the scenes content. This is different from personal content, okay? You can also show your personal life, and that's great, and it helps people get to know you. But what you also need to be showing is behind the scenes in your business. How did you get here? What are you doing right now? What are you struggling with? This is what people need to see. They need to see the real you as you're operating in a business setting. Not the you that just sits down and records reels every day, but what is actually happening in your business right now. People are curious. People want to know. For example, I just did how I'm going to reach 100K month video. I'm not there yet. It's a work in progress. And so it's a behind the scenes of my business. Again, it helps people to resonate with you, helps people to connect with you, and actually come on the journey with you. All right, content type number 4 is social proof. This is the most powerful content type for sales. Now, a lot of people do promotional content. They'll do like, I'm running an offer or 50% off. And that is fine for your low funnel stuff. For your emails, do that. But no one wants to see your 50% off voucher or discount being the subject of a reel or a YouTube video. But we do want to hear about the results that you've delivered for others. And so many people slack on this. Please don't. Shout about how you have helped others. If you're not doing it with your paid product yet, show how you volunteered for others. Show how you showed up for others. Show how you've answered questions for others. There is no way on this earth that I believe that you have not helped another single soul out there. And if you've done it, your audience need to know about it too. Again, it builds trust, but this one is so important because it builds real credibility. If you can get results for somebody else that isn't just you, your audience are going to buy into what you're selling without you even trying. Okay, so here's the last one that everybody gets wrong on the content types is soft sell content. Now, this might have been old school promotional content or conversion content, but it's not that anymore. Mastering the art of soft sell really has been the thing that's changed my business because nobody wants to just listen to someone drone on about selling their products. But if you can sell in a soft way, if you can connect it to your educational content, if you can connect it to your personal story content, essentially people shouldn't even feel like you're selling, or by the time they realize that you're selling, it's too late because you've already sold, you've already done your pitch, and they're like, okay, get me in. So honestly, this is the type of content you need to work on. You need to work on making it feel natural. And don't worry if it doesn't right away, but it will. The more you sell, the more comfortable you'll get with it, and the more natural it will feel to your audience. Okay, so that was part 1, content types, not just content pillars. Let's move on to part 2, where I'm going to deep dive into the storytelling aspect. Now, we touched on it in the content type, but I want you to be really clear what it means to tell a story. And this is the formula that I use. I start with the problem, okay? What is the problem that you're going through or that you have been through and you have overcome, but that your audience is going through now? This is often called the pain point. You need to call this out as early as you can in your story so that people can connect with it and actually have a reason to continue listening to your story, okay? And whether you're delivering that story in your YouTube content, in your Instagram content, in your emails, even face-to-face if you have a physical business, it doesn't matter. Always start with the pain points that people can immediately relate to it. The next stage is journey. How did you move from your problem to the next stage of the storytelling matrix, which is solution, okay? Bit in between is your journey. If you think back to the start of this video, I told you that my problem was that I was burning out from posting on Instagram and TikTok every day and heading towards a mental breakdown. That is no exaggeration. And my solution was that I was able to find a one platform solution in YouTube, create more long form content, post less and make more money. That was my solution. In between was the journey, okay? I talked about the mental breakdown. I talked about being on the bathroom floor and sobbing. That was all part of my journey. As much as you can make this journey tangible, the more powerful it's going to feel. People don't just want to hear, oh, here's a problem, here's a solution, bing, bang, bosh. No, they want to hear about how you've got from your problem to your solution, and that is your journey, okay? And so after that, obviously you're talking about your solution, you're talking about how you got to your desired endpoint. And listen, this needs to be exactly the same thing that your audience is after. They must want that solution that you're telling them about, or a version of that solution, in order for this story to have the desired impact on them. And then the last part is what most people forget when they're telling a story. They might tell the problem, they might talk a little bit about their journey, they often talk about the solution, solution, they don't talk about the result. What did that get you? Okay. So for me, at the start of this video, and I'd love you to rewatch it so you can see the structure in action, the result was when I was made redundant, I didn't have to go and look for a new job because I had a business that I could run from home that was making me 6 figures. That was a huge result, okay? And so that is what a lot of people forget. They take the solution, which is, oh, I made more money in my business, but what does that actually mean for your life? And the person that's listening, what does that mean for their life as well? This is how you're going to create powerful stories that build connection and will sell your product way more than any sleazy sales tactic, okay? And so when you're telling your story, literally follow that framework and I guarantee you won't be able to go wrong. Okay, the next part is all about content repurposing system. This was pillar 3 out of 4 of how I was able to post less and make so much more money from digital products. Now, you've probably heard about repurposing, and if you're like me, you probably think that means using the same piece of content on TikTok, on Instagram, and on YouTube Shorts. Yeah, I've repurposed my content. Great. Absolutely not. And honestly, this is something that I really had to learn. And this is one of the benefits of using YouTube as your primary platform, right? You create one long form video a week, let's say. Did you know that you can literally turn that video into probably 30 to 40 short form pieces of content? You can also repurpose it into an email. You can also repurpose it into a blog. You can also repurpose it into Pinterest pins. So what happens is you start as YouTube as your seed content, and you're able from that to take so many different pieces of content and actually make it seem like you're in more places than you actually are. Now, to do this, you're not just posting the same piece of content, you're usually making slight changes. You can use AI platforms like Descript to do this. You can also use Repurpose.io to literally cut your content down into clips and send it to different platforms. The key here is, though, to use AI to make sure that you are taking your seed piece of content and it is helping you come up with ideas of how you're going to repurpose it. The trick here for me was to use AI as a prompt to help me repurpose that content without it feeling like exactly the same piece of content. Now, I mentioned my $1 million AI prompts at the start. Inside this pack, I have got a banging content repurposing prompt that's going to help you do this whole thing for you. All you need is a transcript of a YouTube video, but it can also work with a TikTok video or Instagram video. Download the video using something like Snaptic and then grab the transcript using something like Descript, or you can just play it and have Google Notes transcribe it for completely free. Once you've got your transcript, this is your seed content. You'll use this alongside the prompt from my $1 million guide, and this is going to give you endless content ideas. Honestly, it's literally like cheating. And some of these content ideas you can choose to film, so you can film some fresh short form using the angles that the AI gives you, or you can just cut down your long form, or you can just create carousels, things that are so easy to create that you can literally batch create multiple pieces just in one day. And with that, you know what to create in your content types, how to create it in your storytelling, and how to maximize it through your content prompt. Now, the next part is probably one of the most important, and this is how you actually focus all that effort to deliver it and get it out there into the world. Now, it's no surprise that I'm going to talk about YouTube here. It's what I mentioned at the start, but what I want to break down is exactly why I'm using YouTube and why it performed better than TikTok and Instagram. Please note, I'm not including Pinterest in this. Pinterest is like my always on search strategy. I use it alongside YouTube, but depending on your niche, you could just use Pinterest on its own if you wanted to. Now, here's the thing. When I was posting every day on TikTok and I grew to 3,000 followers, I was doing lives, and that was how I was making most of my sales. Then I moved over to Instagram, and actually I really loved the automation that came with Instagram. You can use sites like ManyChat, or if you want a free alternative, you can use Super Profile. I really loved the way that Instagram was automated. However, what I didn't love was how slow it was to grow and how much you really needed to tap into trends in the same way that you did with TikTok. Now, with YouTube, all of that noise, all of that extra complication completely melted away. I didn't have to worry about trends. I didn't have to worry about doing silly little dances. I didn't have to worry about my posting time. All of that became irrelevant. All I had to worry about was making helpful, long form, educational content. And that That is my bag. I can do an educational video. And so that is why for me, YouTube was a lot better fit. And I tell you, I started to realize this about YouTube within the first few weeks. When I had 50 followers on YouTube, I was getting more leads and more sales than I was on my 3K TikTok or on my 1K or something at the time Instagram. And that is because people come to this platform with intent. When people land on YouTube, they are searching for something. They're usually searching for a solution. They're usually searching for help. They're not usually just on here to scroll. I mean, sometimes you are, but it's way more likely that you're just doom scrolling through TikTok and Instagram rather than YouTube, where you're being really intentional about what you want to find. I also found that growing a community on YouTube was so much easier as well. You know why? Because again, people were seeking out this information and therefore people were almost finding me. I was like attracting my people rather than on Instagram and TikTok. It feels like you're constantly chasing your people. It doesn't feel like your content is just going to end up where it's supposed to be. And that's exactly what it's like on YouTube. And so if you want to completely pivot your content strategy, the best place to start is this content prompt that I have inside the $1 Million AI pack that is going to give you all of the clarity on your content. The one thing that you need to remember is that even if your one platform strategy isn't YouTube, you can make this same strategy work with any single platform. All you need to know is what content types to create, how to deliver your story, and how to maximize through content repurposing. Now you're going to want to watch this video next, where I literally break down my whole repurposing strategy and how I was able to get free views when I first started my YouTube channel. Okay, take care and see you there. Bye.